Greetings, RSV here. This video will be reviewing the content and systems upcoming for Ratam and beyond. I will be giving praise where it is needed and state where I am worried, so let's begin. The new region Ratam appears to be at the very least doubling what we have from the base Alio region. New enemies, resources, and even hippos. The zone itself is a desert, which kinda hurts aesthetically and is a worry for longevity. Although I think they have done a pretty good job at making the zone itself look nice to look at. I was initially concerned they were not adding more native enemies to the game during Ratam, but they have added robots and there was the small worm enemy. In terms of what players are getting, I have my doubts and worries, but let's go over the positives first. The first level cap is 35. All classes are getting new skills. It is plural in the headline, so I'm thinking it is safe to assume that either this means all weapons will get at least one ability. It could also mean that they are all getting at least two. There are, however, two things I'm concerned about. It seems that the highest rarity will be 5-star, which is concerning if it's handled incorrectly. If the weaker weapons and units are 5-star, the rarity bias issue will continue. Only a new target has been found to obsess over. They could have 6-star as a surprise, but I'm not expecting it in the slightest now. Another thing to note is it looks like augments are on par with the Alio augments, rather than an upgrade. Maybe we'll get some augment upgrades, but right now, this just seems to be a bit of a letdown. Augmenting is pretty boring as a system in the first place after all. Another change coming is fixer augments are transferable if you get a copy of a weapon with the same name with a fixer augment. This allows players to work towards upgrading a fixerless weapon early on, but doesn't really allow players to build up a fixer augment over time, and virtually just makes the system less restrictive and not actually easier. Fixer augments appear to be still RNG Super Sand 2. So on one hand I'm happy they did this, but on the other I'm worried they didn't actually give players a reason to do them past leveling. And that is the new task from the two characters. If the leveling NPC just gives XP, the entire NPC becomes invalidated upon the player reaching level 35. Yes, Class X cubes and other classes exist, but unless you want to play another class, there is no reason to pursue both. Class X cubes can be obtained from the mission pass and do not serve a function outside of weapon potentials. These NPCs need replayability outside of leveling, otherwise the daily content grind loop will remain 10 minutes long. Not to mention, if there are closer to 40 of these quests at once, Sega added another pay-to-win element to the game, but at least it's tied to their subscription model. But if at least one of them does give resources or Meseta as a reward, alts have value again, which is always a positive. The new Trainier looks amazing. I hope there is a reason to do them more than once, however. Otherwise, I'm glad the new battle tier are in at launch. I can't really say much else here. This is just pretty positive and I'm fairly excited. On the topic of instant content, it seems we will be getting at least one new urgent quest, and this urgent quest doesn't invalidate the old ones. And we will now have 3 urgent quests up at once if you include base game. Just give the Alio zones one a rank 2 so they remain valid content. And maybe extend the NGS urgent quest period to an hour for future's sake once they drop the ice region and volcanic region. And suddenly, every second hour, all of a sudden, you have a good hour and 20 minutes of play at a minimum. Well, that's what I would do as a novice game dev anyway. But a quick touch up on the purple battle tier, I kind of hope that the Gigas in there do not drop the same series as Gigas outside it. This would actually create a reason outside Fixer to do it, and I think that is a lot healthier for the game. Quality of life plus title system. The title system is coming to the game. Yay! An amazing source of star gems for NGS. The mag sonar will have proper settings and allows for the searching of resources rather than just main objectives, which is kind of amazing. You will be able to set a room keyword for sector rooms, which is a nice change for people who are getting frustrated trying to hunt gigas. Scratches. Mercenary system. My only real question ends up being, where is the cast parts? Your caption says sci-fi outfits based on battleware. What is more sci-fi than a bloody robot? The Christmas scratch must get Frozen emote and Snow Fun free. I must complete my collection of Snow Fun. They added grand augments to the game again. Yay! pay to win augments. I mean, it shouldn't be too bad. Honestly, a lot of people just bought them from the market because people were reselling them, which I guess is okay. I guess it's something for whales to invest in, but I guess the game needs to be good for whales to invest in it in the first place. So we might just see less supply than demand again, and that was the true problem with the market during the first part of NGS, is that there just wasn't enough supply for the demand, so the prices inflated. Like, regardless of what anyone said, people just weren't scratching. It was very obvious when people were scratching. Like, for example, the Attack on Titan scratch. There was stuff in the market immediately, whereas on other scratches, there isn't stuff on the market very quickly. I've noticed this as someone who does actually scratch and does actually put stuff on the market. There isn't always stuff on the market when I scratch like 30 minutes after the patch goes up. And I remember in base there was always something usually, unless I was really like the quickest person to put it up, which happens on occasion, but yeah, usually there is something there by the 30-minute mark, and there just hasn't been an NGS. They've also revised the price of several of their packs. To me, it looks pretty acceptable. I am glad they are no longer 75 Kanga coins for me. The new packs for Ratam look pretty fun too, and the parts should be sellable in the market for free-to-play players to buy, so hopefully everyone can get the parts they want. Otherwise, they didn't announce a new SG scratch, or catch-up scratch, which is pretty surprising to me. Onto the minor changes. New customizations such as moving your tongue around, your tongue position, etc. There are more, and lookbook. Motions will be added to your registered look UI. You can now have different motions for outfits too. I'm extremely happy with all this. There'll be new story elements. I won't speak much about this though, as I don't have insider knowledge on how they will like play out or anything, so there's really no point speculating as we barely know anything other than Giant Worm. PSE bursts decay slower, which is a nice change. Timing of thunderstorms is timed out better, no brainer there. Gold Pass and Side Task extension added back to Premium. I do think that the Premium is kind of lackluster. For a subscription, it's kind of bleh. This helps improve it, but it still needs more in my opinion for it to be worthwhile. The Gold Pass certainly helps it, but yeah, I guess it just depends on the side tasks and how much value that the side task extension gives you really. Christmas update. Everything from this point on is not finalized, so take it with a grain of salt. The Christmas update seems to be different from previous events. This drops 7 days after Ratam does. I kind of hope that the emblems above enemies' heads returns here. Despite it being done before, everyone should still be grinding, so it is the perfect time for it. The Stellar Grace recovery operation seems pretty cool, but it is a scavenger hunt. I don't really know how long it will be fun for, but it looks fun, so I guess we can give it a go. Hopefully they will appear in the Ratam region too. Operation report. Their reasoning for not having cast parts is pretty sound here. But apart from male costumes, did it even ever occur to them that the cast parts may not be being used because there just isn't enough variety of them? Cast parts are something that need a decent pool before people start using it, so they can mix and match the pieces and make their own look. More parts means more people will use them. It's a natural occurrence for the cast parts. I feel anyway. Fixed light and updated PSO2 outfits. Fixed light is great. Updated PSO2 outfits were always coming, so that's nothing new. They've talked about it for a while, and they still have not released the Surface Royal or the voted on outfits to the game yet. We are behind JP on terms of that, so Sega has been trying to catch us up still and get all the outfits that JP has into global. Player housing. I actually really agree with their reasoning here. I think it is sound. If you are behind on content in general anyway, you should focus on that content rather than add a new system that your team has to add content to as well, increasing your burden. Though the rewards a personal quarters could give you would fix a lot of issues about the game, so I'm on the fence about this even though I feel their reasoning is on the mark here. Now, onto the roadmap. I did not see this coming. I was writing this script at 1:30 AM in the morning, and when I saw what I'm about to share, I nearly shouted in excitement at the top of my lungs, waking my household and my entire street up. The roadmap for the first half of 2022. Short answer, it is great. It has 2 health patches, 2 months apart, which is amazing. This release schedule just feels a lot more thought out and refined. Honestly, to me, it is pretty hype, especially noticing Urgent Quest triggers, there being a second event on the 1st of January. There is just a lot here. I also noticed that starting spring, event Urgent Quests seem to be returning. I actually don't hate that we aren't getting a Christmas Urgent Quest. I think less is more with an event that is so close to the launch of a new zone. But something I'm not happy about is there is no sign of permanent vendors anywhere, but I guess we gotta wait and see. On that note, they haven't told us everything for obvious reasons, and I think a vendor would be a bit lackluster or boring to share with us. Mag Jukebox setting is kinda neat. Before I sign off though, I got a few questions. Where did Luster go? Summoner also is nowhere to be seen. Will we be getting 6 and 7 star weapons on the level cap increases? Are you excited? Honestly, this is pretty hype. There is a lot coming and I am very happy with the roadmap as long as it doesn't get delayed massively. I think we'll have a fun and eventful Ratam. If you liked my content, remember to leave a like and consider subscribing. It really helps me out. I have been RSV and I will see you next time. Postscript. I am currently in the process of designing an avatar for streaming Ratam. It is highly work in progress, but if you made it this far, save any hugs in the chat and I'll heart your comment.